Alright, what's up YouTube? This tutorial is going to be about making template files and auto loads. And what the fuck does that mean? Well, a template file is something that opens up and it's kind of got everything already laid out for you. So you don't have to do all this pre-musical work. You don't have to lay out drum racks and all these group bus channels and all this shit. It's already there. And some people call it an auto load, and an auto load is slightly different, and what that means is when you press new file, so when I go up here to new live set, it's what loads up. So for me, right now, this is what most of you will probably see. This is a live auto load right here. And it's pretty bland, not really much going on, but that's what we're going to fix today. So we're going to help you make your own auto load or template file. And for starters, I'm just going to get all this stuff out of the way because I don't really need to see that right now. I like producing in the arrangement view because it just makes more sense to me. So that's how I'm going to put together my auto load for that kind of situation. So first off, I'm going to make a bunch of MIDI tracks. And so what I'm doing is Control D. This is the keyboard shortcut for duplicate. So I'm going to make about 11 of these. The first one is going to be a ghost kick. What the fuck's a ghost kick? Well, ghost kick is something you use for compression. That's not what I'm talking about in this tutorial today, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about it. If you're interested, I'll make another tutorial about it later. But next one, I'm going to hold down Shift and then click once I already have the top part selected. And that lets you select a bunch of tracks. You can also Control click. You're like, oh, you can Control unclick too. So now that I have all the ones I want selected, go ahead and group. And another way to copy tracks is hold down Control and drag, so you get that little plus box thing. And this, I'm gonna make this my drum bus right here, drum bus. And I'm a colorful guy, I guess. No, more like I like colors to differentiate what's going on in my live sets because it logically makes more sense. So I'm going to color code all these different tracks so my brain can tell what's going on even when I can't. So right here, I'm going to make this gray. For some reason, whenever I think of drum buses, I think gray. It's like the foundation. It's the cement that holds your track together. So I like it gray. And I'm going to rename the tracks ahead of time so I don't have to go in there and rename everything once I've started working. So the first one is logically going to be kick. That's what I start all my tracks with. Snare. And right now I'm just using the arrow keys to go down. So next one is clap. I'm pressing Control R to rename. Hi-hats. Ooh, not all that. Hats. Perk. And you'll see I put this audio track in here. Why is there an audio track in your MIDI track bus? Well, that's because sometimes I do use loops, or I like little samples in there that are only in audio form, and sometimes I like working with raw audio too. So I'll have a little audio track in there, and I'll say perk audio to remind me. The next four I'm gonna group, and this is gonna be lead bus. Rename that sucker lead bus, and I'm gonna color it teal. No, fuck that. I'm gonna make it yellow. Yellow. Lead 1, lead 2. You don't have to do this, but I do. 3, lead 4. And I'll probably rename these once I actually put leads in there, so I can tell, oh, this is the Zeta 2, blah blah blah, super epic. Get the panties on the floor lead, whatever. So that's what that'll be. And rename them so you know what the fuck's going on instead of just having lead 1. Oh shit, I don't know what that is. Y'all rename it once you get it. Get all your stuff in the channel strip. Alright. I only use 2 MIDI clips right here. I might add a couple based on what I'm producing, but this is my bass bus right here. Bass bus. And when I think some people, they classify basses, you know, you'll be making dubstep and you'll be like, oh, that wobbles, it's bass. Well, for me, I kind of think of some of the basses, they kind of act like leads in dubstep. So I would actually put those in the lead bus. And the bass bus is where I put the really subby stuff. So it might have some upper harmonics and shit, but it has sub frequencies. And that's why it's going to be in the bass bus for me. So I'm going to rename these bass 1 and bass 2. And if it's just a sub bass, I'll probably just put sub bass. So I'll have those already ready. So now we got an audio track down here all by its lonesome. I'm going to duplicate him like a bazillion times. Not really a bazillion times, but a good amount. And this is going to be for 2 more bus channels. And we'll go ahead and select 5. I'm going to go ahead and group 5 of these, Control G to group. And it's going to be the vocal bus, alright? So this is where I put all my like little shout samples, or if I'm lucky enough to get a lyricist, all that shit. Or if I'm just using samples from online or acapellas for a remix or whatever. This is a vocal bus, and this is where all that shit's gonna go. And for the top channel, I'm just gonna put clear 1. And what this tells me is there's no effects on that channel. So if I just want to hear the straight up vocal, put it on that channel, or whatever shout sample, I put it there. There's a little audio trick that I do that takes 3 channels, and I'll probably make a tutorial about this later, but this is about making an Autoload file, not stereo tricks right now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and name these tracks. Nope, don't need 2 lefts. And I'm gonna go ahead and pan these. So if this one's to the left, I'm gonna put it all the way to the left. Center, we don't need to do anything, it's already in the center. And right, go ahead and put it on the right. And then there's one more audio channel down here. I might actually make 2 clears for this. Sometimes, you know, sometimes shit just gets congested, so I'm gonna go ahead and make 2. But this last one down here, I don't think I've seen too many people use these before, but they're hugely useful to me, and just my workflow works like this. So this is a record, I'll say vocal record. Sorry. And the idea is there's a lot of ways to bounce audio in live or record audio. For me, this just makes the most sense and it's the quickest. You can freeze the track, do all that bullshit, but for me, I like arming and recording a track. And what this allows me to do is I can route this before I even open the file. So this will be coming from the vocal bus before anything else. So all I have to do is click down here, mute the tracks that I don't want, and just arm up here and record, and I already have it. And this is also nice because you can put just audio that you're working with, but you don't want it to play back, and you don't want to mute shit, and you don't want to deactivate traps. It's just there, and you can put it in this track to just wait. So it's kind of on your paint palette right there, I guess you could say. And so that's it for the vocal bus for right now. I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate another one of these audio tracks. So I have 7, I think. Yeah, 7 down here. Group those up. And this is the last bus section for me. And I'm gonna say this is the FX bus. I'm gonna name it, color it. It's weird. No, I'll go for just straight up teal. So these are all my different channels. And I'm gonna go clear 1. This is the same as the vocal bus. These are not gonna have any effects on here, none. And this is just, for me, this is how I like working, because some of these tracks, instead of using sends, it's a lot faster for me to use just parallel processing that's already done in the channel strips. So I'll explain that a little bit later once I start like filling out all these channel strips, but watch out for that when I start doing it. So this one's going to be reverb, have delay, chorus, and this one will be FX record. And this is the same, not record, record, alright. And this is going to be the same as the other one down there, or up there. I'm going to go ahead and select effects bus, and go ahead and mute that one. So this is kind of a staging area down there. Alright, so that's everything kind of laid out. So now it's to really like flesh out all these buses. All they really are is just a bunch of channel strips now. There's nothing in them. And to start doing that, or start doing anything, I'd kind of have to start loading stuff up in there. So I want to go ahead and get that all the way out of the way. So first off, the ghost kick up here. I'm going to go ahead and just make a ghost kick real fast, so I don't have to do that once, you know, once I start working on a track. So for starters, I'm just going to put a simpler in here. Where's my simpler? Oh, oops, I'm in the audio effects. Simpler. Boop, boop, boop. Alright, and now I'm just going to grab myself a quick little, we'll get a little kick. Nope. Not that. Nope. Alright, one shots. We'll get a little kick, alright? And let's get a club sound. Put on my headphones real quick to do this. I want one that really, it just clicks right away. And because all this kick is going to be for is triggering an envelope. So I'll just use this one right here. This looks like it comes in. And I'm going to pull this all the way up to where it starts, right there. And I'm going to pull the sustain down. So, if I listen to it. And about right there. All I really want to do is just really trigger in the compression. So that's all it's here for. And I want to make it so it's at 0, or it might be a little bit more. So right before it starts clipping. Why do this? Well, because it lets me know exactly how much compression is going on. So that's about at 0 dB right there. And so now we got that ghost kick already ready. And because I make a lot of house in 4x4, I'm going to go ahead and make a MIDI clip for it. And you're like, oh shit. Yeah, all this stuff is already going to be done when I load this up. So I don't have to think about any of this. So I'm just Control-D, double click to put the MIDI in there. And I already have a MIDI clip right there. 4x4. And so I already have that ghost track already sorted right there. And so now that we have that, might as well, you know, already put compression on some of the tracks. You know, like some people may be like, oh, that's for mastering. When I work on tracks, I'm mastering the entire time because I don't have the money to send it out to some professional audio file in some huge studio with millions of dollars of equipment. I don't have that kind of money. I have to master my tracks myself. And how I do it is I master them while I go. And so I'm going to put a compressor on here, take it from the ghost kick, give it some knee, not too much ratio, and take away all the attack. And so now if we play it, you can see we already have some just a little bit of a compression to get the click at the kick going through once we get that. So I'm going to drag this guy down. Whoop. So I'm holding down Control to drag him down here to the bass bus, and I'm gonna make the ratio a little bit harsher because, well, ducking is pretty important. You don't want your bass fighting, and that's something you'll really need to tweak once you start working on your basses. And once again, I'm gonna drag this down to the vocals and down to the effects. So this is really gentle sidechaining right now. Nothing too crazy. All right. So now we got some compression already going on in here. So, well, what next? For me, I always end up using an EQ. I EQ all my tracks, and in Logic, it's nice you have all those channel EQs and shit. But I'm gonna start putting those in. About out of time right now, but click on part 2 and I will continue explaining how to make one of these beautiful auto loads. So see you in the next video.